look like a Teletubby. With your cardigan, you know what I mean?
Which one am I?
I don't know.
Am I Poe? Lala. I think I'm
One
Lala.
with a handbag.
Oh, I can't remember who that one is, but always had his handbag, didn't he? Lala or Poe, one or the other. Teletubbies. I've spent a long time watching those with my godson over the years. And Barney, the sort of giant purple dinosaur. But I'm going to be doing it all again, aren't I? My little grandchild when it comes. Anyway, now, meatloaf. 50 shades of food today. I thought I haven't done one for ages. And you were looking through the spreadsheet and you came across meatloaf. I didn't know who actually had asked for it. But I thought, yes, meatloaf. And then you just said to me, it's Mary Ann Davis, who I went to school with many years ago. So this is for you, Mary Ann. I don't know where you live now. I think you're in Australia, actually. But anyway, I'm going to make you meatloaf. Now, this is I do lots of different versions of meatloaf, but this is one I've literally just thrown together in my head. All right, so I'm going to give it a go. I know, could be fine. It's called a meat shape as well. My friend Sarah, who's Irish, her granny used to call them meat shapes. Excuse me. And in my sorry, just a glass of water quite quickly. In my book, there's something called it's a meat shape. It's a pork and chorizo one. But I'm going to do it slightly different today. So we've got pork, we've got mince in my big thingy, my big bowl. It's about 450 grams of each.
Sorry,
and
pork mince and beef mince.
And beef mince, yeah. And then this is 1 onion chopped and 3 cloves of garlic chopped, which have been cooked for about 10 minutes gently in olive oil. I don't put raw onions into a meatloaf because even though you then cook it again, they still have that slightly acidic, metallic bitterness to an onion, which I don't like. So I've cooked them, so it just takes the edge off that. I'm going to pop some freshly chopped parsley in there, okay? And then some oregano. So we're probably about a teaspoon of dried oregano. Okay. Now we can't taste this. If you want to, you can make it and then just fry a little bit in the pan just to taste the seasoning, which some people do, which is absolutely fine. You can do that. But I'm just going to kind of judge. So it's about a teaspoon of dried oregano and about half a teaspoon of chilli seeds. There you go. And you don't like chilli, you don't have to put that in. Be generous with your salt, okay? So a good wallop of salt in there, because there's a lot of meat for it to permeate through. You don't want it to be bland. And then tons and tons of black pepper as well. So mix this all. And the idea I've got is that this meatloaf is going to have mozzarella cheese and mushrooms and parmesan and basil through the middle of it. That's my idea. So it gives a little bit of excitement to the middle of the meatloaf. Okay, that's what I'm going with. Breadcrumbs in there. Okay, I've just given them a whiz and I'm just going to soak them in a little bit of milk. This is your special milk. Am I allowed to use it?
Yeah. How many breadcrumbs?
Oh, I don't know. About 50 grams of bread and probably 100 mils of milk. So just let those soak up for a minute while I put into this dish as well. I can put 1 egg in to start with just to help bind. And then if I think it needs any more, I'll put another one in. Because I said it's all off the cuff at the moment. I'm going to get in and I'm going to give it a squidge. Okay, what? Flavours together. So the idea, the egg helps to bind it, the bread helps to bulk out but also bind it as well. Okay, so that can now go in. Probably need to give them a little bit longer to soak, but that'll do. And of course the milk as well, that helps tenderise your meat because of the lactic acid in there. Squidge, squidge. There we go. Oh, it smells great. That garlic in there. Oh, smell that. And the herbs. So, if you don't have any pork mince, you can use sausage meat with mince beef as well. It's a little bit more fat in it, but it should still be just as delicious, so you can use that. So basically now I've got about 2 pounds or a kilogram of meat. Now, you can do this if you want to in like a big loaf tin, like a 2 pound loaf tin. I'm going to give it a go, just shaping it straight into my tin. Okay, so that's my half and half, and I'm going to wash my hands, and then I'm going to get on with the middle. You're not supposed to chop basil, apparently. You're only supposed to tear it. That's what they say. But I'm chopping it because I just want to get it slightly smaller than tearing will do. So there's some chopped fresh basil in there. As you saw, it's quite a healthy bunch of it. And earlier on, while you were having a shower, I cooked the mushrooms as well. So these are just cooked in a little bit of olive oil. There's about 8 mushrooms there. Now I roughly chopped them. Don't want that liquid in, just avoid that. I roughly chopped them. I didn't make them that small because I wanted to have a bit of chunk. And then there's some mozzarella. So a ball of mozzarella, and I'm just going to cut it into chunks. I was thinking. Well, it's like a long ball, isn't it? I was thinking about putting the whole ball through the middle. But then I thought, well, the idea what I'm going to do now will give it a little bit more flavour. But why not? And just shove a long mozzarella through the middle. It'd be a problem. But I'm just going to cut it into some chunks. Like that. And then mix that with my mushroom and my basil. Okay. There we go. And to that, I'm going to add some parmesan as well. Okay, that's probably about, how much is in there? So it's probably about 50 grams, 60 grams of parmesan, freshly grated in a bag. And then just squidge that all together, okay? Parmesan's going to give that flavour as well. And hopefully this is going to work. I wonder if I might put an egg in. No, I'm going to have faith. I think that will just squidge together. Okay. All right. Dish. Might have too much cheese. Oh, that would be very nice though. We can use that for something else. Might have overestimated it slightly. Okay. Like that. This down the middle. Yeah, slightly overestimated my love on the cheese. That's underlike me. That's not like me, is it? Actually, I'll tell you what, I might be able to pile it all in. If I cover it all with the meat, I think we might be all right, actually. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's do it. If we get a bit of leakage, it'll just taste lovely. I like to live life on the edge, don't I? Right, so I've got a bigger piece on the top, so if I flatten that and squidge that over the top, and then hopefully I can seal it all in and take it down like that. Okay, do the same on that side. I'll go around and just check it's all sealed, but I'm going to put this into the oven at 180. I'm going to cover it in foil to start with, okay? I'm going to give it about 30 minutes with foil, then I'm going to take the foil off, and then I'm going to leave it without the foil so it browns for however long it takes to cook it. And I'm going to make a glaze, like a lovely sort of sauce, rich tomatoey sauce glaze to put on top to serve it with. That'd be nice. Right, I'm going to make a lovely little tomato sauce to go on the side or over the top of the meatloaf. So yummy. I'm going to do that, and then I reckon mashed potato again. What do you think?
Isn't it the law?
I think it might be. I remember at school having meatloaf. It wasn't as good as this, Marianne, was it? Although I used to actually quite like the meatloaf. I seem to remember it used to be one of my favourite days of school lunches. But anyway, meatloaf. It didn't put you off, did it, Marianne? The school meatloaf didn't put you off meatloaf. Here we go. This is a tin of tomatoes. And to that, I'm going to add about 4 cloves of garlic. No onion goes into this sauce. This is my go-to tomato sauce, really, when I quite often toss this over pasta as well. A little bit of olive oil, just over the top, and oregano again, about half a teaspoon of that, fresh or dried. And I was just a little soupçon of soy sauce. Just enriches it. I'm going to bring that up to the boil, let that simmer very gently away, and add these cherry tomatoes to it. Bit of salt and pepper, job done. That's it. And that's going to be served with the meatloaf. It's still cooking in the oven. So actually what I might do is show you halfway before I take off the foil and put it back into the oven. I'll come back and I will show you what it looks like. It's had half an hour in the oven. There you go. Okay, so that's all firm and held together. Can you see that? Tiny bit of leakage of the mozzarella, but I'm not too worried about that. I was always going to get something. But I did do my very best to seal it all. So I'm going to put this back into the oven for another half an hour. Now you'll see sometimes there's all this liquid that comes off. That's just water. Don't pour that off, leave that, because that's just going to keep, because it's going to give it sort of a steamy atmosphere in the oven. It's just going to keep the meatloaf nice and moist. All right, so half an hour in the oven just to brown it off. Jobby dunny. Slice it, cover it in a bit of tomato sauce. Yum yum. Looks like a little hedgehog, doesn't it? Meat shape, hedgehog shape. Right, so just literally pulled it out, popped it on there. There was a tiny bit of leakage of the mozzarella, so you've got to make sure you really can, cover all the angles and it's all packed inside, but it really wasn't very much at all. So I'm just going to pour this lovely bright red cherry tomato and tomato sauce over the top. Okay, like that. This is how I take it to the table. If I was taking it to a table, but I'm not taking it to a table because we are just gonna get in there, aren't we? We're gonna give it a go, see what it tastes like. My big knife. Okay, so I'm gonna go in this way so we get a really good cross section. Look at that, with that squeezy, look at the squeezies, look at the squeezy cheese coming out of there. And if I pull that to the side and move that around, can you see that, my love? Can you see all the squeezy cheese coming out? God. Does it smell good, doesn't it? It smells really, really scrumptious. So, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Right, what's the betting? I get it down my front. Oh, it's so moist as well. Whew, there's the chilli. That little bit of chilli is just in there. It's really moist. That's what I love about it. It's not dried out at all. So I think, for that, the milk certainly helps in that bread. But also just the way you cook it, just cook it in 180 degrees and leave that liquid in there just to steam it and keep it going. But, oh, John, it's really scrumptious. Mashed potato, that lovely tomato sauce makes it all bright. I mean, it's a rustic dish, isn't it? It's not fancy. It's not fancy pants. It's just a lovely home-cooked supper dish. And blooming lovely. Oh, Marianne, there you go. 50 shades of food for you, my love. Meatloaf.